continues to struggle for a reason to exist.
It really does.
All
Today's
right,
episode is one of a slog for sure, even though it's only 30 minutes.
It's a very short episode, and in the name of charitability, what they're doing here is that they're establishing a bond between side character and woman and the stupid, godforsaken Mandalorian, which should have been wiped out years ago, since apparently they are being regularly picked off by dragons to the point where, like, yeah, that's happened before.
It happens every time. We can never rescue our people. Yeah, there's dragons that abduct people all the time. They don't set out sentries. They don't set out anyone to watch out for the dragon approaching. So while they're training and outside, a child is abducted, and they're like, "Oh no, let's go rescue him." But as it turns out, they've done this before. They've tried to rescue people before. They can't follow the dragon because they don't have the jet fuel. So you have to ask yourself, okay, so they use their thrusters to get as far as they can, and then they just give up.
I also
And
want
they're
to
like,
point
well,
out,
he's dead.
according to the show, this dragon flies for kilometers, like to the point where they need a spacecraft to follow it to its lair, right? So this thing is going out of its way to hunt the Mandalorian specifically. They must be the softest thing on this entire planet.
Maybe anything else is just not edible. That is a huge distance for a predator to travel for its food source.
Well, it's a hostile world, if nothing else. We've established it that much. Because, okay, the overall point is to tie side character and Womexen to the Mandalorians and indebt them to her so that she can be like, hey, I saw the Fishosaurus. And then the woman is like, sure, you saw the Fishosaurus. Not like, no, bitch, I saw the Fishosaurus. Like, sure, you did. You'll see many things on your journey as a Mandalorian. It's like, no, but... I did see the Fishosaurus.
She's trying to explain, like, no, I really saw it. And she's like, oh, yes, we all have great visions.
Literally. It's just
a truly good omen.
So I'm guessing they're heading in the direction that I kind of hoped they would be in, where Womexen will rediscover her roots and be like, okay, if I slay the Fishosaurus, then the people will be like, oh, hey, Mandalore's actually a pretty cute place to live again. And now we've got ourselves a queen and shit. Like, let's go live on Mandalore. And they're gonna reinvigorate their ancient traditions to a certain extent. How much is up to see, I guess. But she's clearly embracing at least part of the Mandalorian creed. Even though when she takes off her helmet to eat, she's like, I don't think I like this. So she's
I don't like this at all.
She's going to be the revolutionary who fixes the Mandalorian creed somehow, I would guess.
Or maybe she's begrudgingly come to accept it. Regardless of whatever it is. It's just, this episode, it really reminds you that the Mandalorian, with the thing is named after the actual character it follows, he's just not really relevant today at all. Again,
that's the issue. A side character doesn't really have much to do anymore. Grogu has some character development, I suppose, where he kicks the shit out of a child 1/5 his own age, and then he's given like a placard. He's like, here, wear this placard with pride. And he's like, thanks, lady. What does it mean?
It's big on my body, but I'm sure we can sell merchandise of this.
It's mostly a kid episode because the dragon comes in and it eats one of the children, but they're like, no, don't worry, the dragons have a sense of honor. It totally wouldn't eat him until at least 48 hours are up. And to be sure, he doesn't.
Yeah, no, he waits. Like, he's apparently had the child, all this time in its belly. So the child has been suffocated, but somehow not suffocated, because when they arrive, it spits him out to feed it to its young.
Well, I guess...
Because of course.
No, I could see that, because the only reason why side character was drowning when he fell into the Fishosaurus abyss was because he was too stupid to activate the air seal on his helmet. The kid may very well have a higher IQ than side character.
Oh my god, everyone's just better at being a Mandalorian than the Mandalorian is.
It's very possible.
I may be a child, but at least I know how to put on my helmet right.
Correct. And so the dragon is like, well, I gotta feed my babies, and they come just in time to stop him from feeding her, I don't know. Do we assume the dragon's gender? From feeding its babies, and then they rescue him, and they kill the dragon, or well, they don't kill the dragon. In fact, they never even attack the dragon, because you see, if they shoot it, they might hit the child. Because, this thing is the size of, like, an interstate bus, and the child is the size of a child, and no Mandalorian would have the marksmanship skill to differentiate between the two, obviously.
Yep. There's the claws on its little legs where the child is, and then there's the rest of the body, which is 99% of the mass. And Mandalorians, who are renowned for their martial prowess and military capabilities, are too worried that they'll miss and hit the child because apparently they'll shoot like fucking stormtroopers.
Yes. Though to be fair, seeing as how pointless their blasters were against the Crocodilosaurus, maybe they've just tried this before and they're just like, yeah, pointless, brother.
We're just gonna fly around it and hope that maybe it'll kill itself. And lo and behold, it actually does.
Oh, they shot their grappling hooks at it, which was nice.
Yeah, they did grapple it, and then it fell into the water, and then a crocodile ate it.
Then that animal from the Jurassic Park movie nommed it, which was cute, I guess.
We had a nice Jurassic Park reference there. I guess the creator might like Jurassic Park.
Oh, and they also enslaved its children to raise them too to be Mandalorians, because literally anyone can become a Mandalorian now. We're not just talking random human beings that they pick up across the galaxy. We're not merely talking their descendant, their children, their sons and daughters, etc. We're not even merely talking little green retard aliens whose entire species should not exist with the rate at which they age. No. Wild fishes, wild birds, pigs on the side of the road, presumably. Anything with IQ around about hovering in the 20 range can become a Mandalorian.
I mean, that's all it takes. I mean, have you seen the Mandalorian guy? He can't even remember to put the seal on for his helmet, so it stands to reason.
And they specifically refer to the birds as foundlings too. Like, okay, maybe they joked, but no, they didn't. They're gonna ride these things in a few episodes. Like, you're gonna see Grogu and Child are going to make a bond together and be like, we're like a team now, Grogu. And then they're gonna ride the I don't even know, the dragon thing.
Giant dragon chickens. I also hate the Disneyfication of everything. They've got these huge bulbous eyes. They're originally very threatening and scary, but later as they capture them, like, actually they're cute and adorable and just misunderstood. It's like, oh my god. Oh,
and did we mention that Grogu also survived Order 66 along with another 7,000 odd survivors?
Oh yeah, he survived Order 66. He, that wasn't a trial for him to overcome or anything. He just sort of like floated over to an elevator, pressed a button, got out, got a free ride to a spaceship, and escaped Order 66. Easy peasy.
Goddamn example of Star Wars blasters.
Oh no, that's right. They're followed by LAATs, or the clone gunships, which have these huge cannons on, like these blaster cannons, right? They fire and they hit the hovercraft that they're escaping with, the speeder bike, and it just like scorches it. And then they hit a building, a skyscraper, and it blows like a huge hole through the skyscraper. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. The blaster in the same scene is demonstrating its power level as its power level drops because it was too close to the main character.
Again, this is an assault transport. Like, these are weapons designed to knock out drone vehicles, like droid vehicles, okay? They're meant to blast apart combat infantry, but a speeding hoverbike, it's just a little bit too much there.
Shot it right in the engine too, by the way, if you watch the scene. It even scorches it, but no problem.
With no appreciable drop in performance of the little hoverbike.
Other than the little scorch mark it left, like the little, baby scorch mark. It's so weird to see that in that scene where it's like they firing these blasters at this thing and it hits it and it's like, a little scratch. Hits like tons of skyscrapers in the background. Huge fiery ball explosions from all the plasma energy, like impacting and, causing a reaction. Just nothing on the blaster, or the speeder. Speeder's made out of something else. Sterner stuff, that's for sure.
But beyond that, nothing really happened this episode. Okay, I understand the need for a bonding moment to kind of tie Womexen into the Mandalorians, but, God, it's just 30 minutes of kids' show. It is... Okay, the Clone Wars TV series had some excellent episodes in it, but it also had a lot of kids' show episodes. The bad episodes. This was one of those.
Yep, where they're focusing too much on the little kiddie stuff to keep the kids interested, and it sort of loses all its meaning. But they gotta sell that merchandise and those toys, because that's literally what Disney's in it for.
Because everyone is a Skywalker and everyone is a Mandalorian. God, this war on exclusivity is something I genuinely despise. Because, sure, now, kids can pretend to be Jedi. Obviously, they can run around, and wave their little plastic lightsabers. You're like, I'm a Jedi. That's fine. And you know why that is cool, though? Why they would want to be a Jedi? Is because the Jedi is something special. The Jedi is something unique. The Mandalorian bounty hunters are, well, something unique. These are exceptional existences within this universe, which is why they are aspirational. When literally anyone can be these things by... In the case of Skywalker, by just being like, I'm a Skywalker now. Or a Mandalorian like, well, I guess I put on the helmet. Like, there you go, I'm a Mandalorian.
I did the ritual, I said the thing, therefore Mandalorian now.
It
Yep.
ruins the thing. The thing has no more foundation. It has no more basis. It has no more exclusivity. It has no more weight, no gravitas. If you reduce the Mandalorians to, 5 sentences and a plastic bucket... they're not really special anymore.
Yep, it loses all its weight. It's like that scene from Incredibles. If everyone's super, then no one's super. Because you take away what makes them unique. You take away what makes them special, and you just attribute that everyone can be special. So there's nothing unique about them anymore. What is it to be a Mandalorian? What kind of training do you have to go through to become a Mandalorian? Well, you put on a little piece of plastic helmet, and you say the thing in the way, and that's it. You're done. You did it. Good job, Mandalorian. Now get out there, kid. Knock him dead. It's not special anymore. Just like Skywalker, it's not special. Everyone can be one.
Well,
which means no one can be.
They had a scene where they were shooting the ocean for a little bit, so that's the training regime, I guess.
Yep, the training regime, and those were the adults. They were shooting blasters into the lake. Maybe they were just bored. I'd like to assume they were bored instead of, being like, this is how we learn how to become accurate. I try to hit each ripple,
I try to hit the lake in front of me. And they still missed frequently, I want to point out. Which I suppose explains why they didn't want to shoot the Tyrannosaurus.
Like, sir, our training regime is not very good. Like, we're not very accurate. It's like, fair enough.
Well, yeah, I saw you shoot at a lake and miss. I get it.
It was difficult, sir. The lake was very flat.
I guess this is why the alligatosaurus also attacked them. They were encroaching upon its livelihood and creating all kinds of noise. Normally, those are peaceful beings that don't really attack anything, except, the Mandalorians were making a lot of noise. It got...
Yeah, if you keep shooting at his lake, God, that must be annoying.
Got pissy. Like, they had been there for weeks and eventually just had enough of them.
It's like, that's it. I'm gonna eat you.
Ah, heavens. Maybe this is my old jadedness, but God, it's a waste of... God. This is the same thing with the... I wonder if we're just kind of too spoiled at this point. We're too used to having... Or maybe even we just simply remember the good thing. Because I'm watching The House of Dragons was the first one. It's like, well, this isn't very good. Then I'm watching this like, this isn't very good either. And yet the internet is like, oh no, she's basically Shakespeare. Oh, God help me.
Yeah, I think the problem is that the quality of content universally has dropped. And that people have lowered their standards.
The people are willing to accept next to anything.
I mean, I pity them, but at the same time, this still isn't good by any stretch of the imagination.
It is not. It is vaguely serviceable, and even then, I would prefer if we could head back to Coruscant to see what happened to Dr. Habibi and Evil Woman Exon.